Holy Father, Pope Leo XIV, has ties to the Midwest. This morning, introducing a priest he mentored. Plus, Scripps News Group's Joe St. George is at the Vatican this morning, breaking down this historical selection while sharing what's next for the Pontiff. And if you're interested in celebrating the Pontiff for yourself, or sharing what's happening in your neighborhood this weekend, those stories and more right now on NBC 26 Today. It's 6:30 this Friday. Good morning and thank you so much for joining us. I'm McLeod Hageman.
And I'm meteorologist Lauren Larson.
And let's go ahead and take a live look at St. Peter's Square this morning as Pope Leo XIV has just delivered his first address there at the Sistine Chapel. He will be delivering a blessing later on this weekend come Sunday. We hope to learn more details coming up later on today. Looking pretty nice there in Vatican City. Is that going to be the case here in Northeast Wisconsin? Hoping so anyway.
Absolutely. I know we've just been spoiled with beautiful sunny skies over the last couple of days, and we have more sunshine in store for us today and into this weekend. So really a nice forecast that I have to deliver to you here this Friday morning. We're off to a sunny start, but also pretty chilly. We do have nice sunny skies as we take a live look outside in Appleton, as our temperatures are only in the 30s and our wind chill temperatures are also only in the 30s, which is why we do have a frost advisory in effect until 8 a.m. throughout all of our neighborhoods. Again, this will expire as we go throughout the next couple of hours once we do see these temperatures warming up a little bit. But it is pretty chilly as you're waking up and walking out the door this morning. 36 degrees right now in Green Bay, 33 in Clintonville, 27 in Mountain as well as in Watoma, 38 in Kewanee, and 39 in Sturgeon Bay. So a cool start throughout Northeast Wisconsin. The good news is it is going to get warmer this afternoon. Unlike the last couple of days where we were below normal, we'll be far above normal in the low 70s for us later this afternoon. And again, lots of sunshine and southerly winds. As we're talking about the 70s, it's not likely that we'll see 80 degrees here today. But how many days did we hit 80 or above in May of last year? Here are those choices. Obviously, we don't see 80s too often in the month of May. I'll have your answer to this trivia question and a look at how many 80s we can expect within the next week coming up in a couple minutes.
The papal conclave came to an end yesterday after cardinals from across the world chose Chicago native Robert Francis Prevost to become the new leader of the Catholic Church, and the world now knows him as Pope Leo XIV. We're learning the Midwest native has Wisconsin connections, including a local Catholic leader who learned directly from the new pontiff. Your At Appear neighborhood reporter Carl Winter connected with the priest who once knew Pope Leo as Father Bob.
The election of the first ever American Pope was an exciting moment for all American Catholics and Midwestern Catholics, but especially a priest here at St. Norbert College who knew the new Holy Father as his spiritual director in seminary in Chicago. When Father Matthew Doherty studied at the Catholic Theological Union in Chicago before coming to St. Norbert, he needed a spiritual director to help find his vocation. And he chose an alumnus, Father Robert Prevost.
I shared with him my struggles and concerns, and he always approached me with kindness and wisdom, and very, very wise man, somebody I look up to greatly.
Father Matthew describes Father Bob's role at the time as a sort of spiritual therapist.
I don't know what made him become the Pope, but I know that for me he was always a very kind and gentle and wise figure who was very kind of quiet.
That was in 2014. Father Matthew has not seen the new pope since, but believes he'll bring unity and a Midwestern perspective to the papacy. I asked Father Matthew if this means this is the first pope who's eaten either Portillo's or Culver's. He wasn't sure about that, but said he hopes the new pope is not a Bears fan. In De Pere, Carl Winter, NBC 26.
Cardinals have selected Pope Leo XIV to lead the Catholic Church as the papal conclave comes to an end this week in Rome. Scripps News Group's Joe St. George joins us from the Vatican this morning. And Joe, what's been the reaction from people that Pope Leo is American?
Well, shock, I think, is the first thing. And that's regardless of that person is Italian, that person is from South America or Asia, or an American priest. I mean, I can't tell you how many priests I've spoken with who thought they would never live to see the day in which an American would be elected pope. However, as you start diving into the biography of Pope Leo XIV, you start realizing, this starts to make sense. In fact, one of the Italian publications previewing this conclave described Pope Leo XIV as the least American among all of the Americans, given his time overseas. This is not a pope who was an archbishop of a, let's say, Milwaukee diocese for an extended period of time, or the DC or Boston diocese. This is very much a priest of the world. He was a missionary priest. You noticed that he spoke from the balcony of St. Peter's yesterday, and he didn't address the people of the United States. He addressed the people of Peru, where he served in ministry for so many years. He speaks multiple languages, in Portuguese, and French, and Spanish, and Italian, and English. And I suspect he'll be putting his multilingual skills to use in the near future with papal trips, presumably all around the world. There's already been some news happening here, and I don't think it would be noteworthy if you were just going to your local mass in Green Bay in northern Wisconsin, but at the first liturgy that Pope Leo celebrated today at the Sistine Chapel with the cardinals that just elected him, who were the readers at the mass, who read the first and second reading? It was women. Women read those. And in the Catholic Church, I think that sends a symbol that this may be a pope who is interested in expanding the role of women in maybe leadership roles or predominant roles within the Catholic Church. One of the many storylines we'll be watching in the coming, not just days and weeks, months, but we're going to be covering an American pope for years now. If you're wondering what happens next, we expect it to be a somewhat busy weekend for the new leader of the Roman Catholic Church. When you're pope, you can do what you want. He may decide to take a stroll through the streets of Rome. Who knows? However, we do expect him to meet with the media and take some questions early next week. Monday is what we've been told. And I think that will be noteworthy because we'll learn more about the direction of his papacy at that time. Perhaps if he has any plans on visiting the United States, maybe seeing his brother in Chicago. We know we've learned from his brother in recent hours. He's a White Sox fan. I hate to say it, McLeod, that probably makes him a Bears fan. I know people in Packers country probably won't like that, but just history unfolding here in Rome. A powerful week for Catholics and non-Catholics alike.
Yeah, we'll be seeing who he's going to be rooting for this fall. Well, now that the Pope has been elected, what's on the agenda for him this week?
Well, as I said, it's going to be his opportunity to showcase to the world just who he is. At 69, right, that's spry by church standards. This is not a pope who is in his late 70s. So this is someone who, by all accounts, has a lot of energy. I suspect that he'll be putting that to good use with trips around the world. Traditionally, there's an inauguration mass about 1 week after a new pope is elected. Given the fact he's the first pope from the United States, I would expect a strong delegation from the U.S. Perhaps Vice President J.D. Vance, who is Catholic, may travel here for that historic moment. Again, as we've been saying, yes, this is an American pope, but in many ways he is a pope of the world. I haven't heard him speak in English yet, at least in media, and it'll be interesting to see what his first words are said in English. Again, I think that just speaks volumes to this is a well-read individual, speaks many languages, and he'll be doing so for years to come.
All right, Joe St. George reporting this morning from Vatican City. Joe, a pleasure as always.